Hi folks, it's me again, back for another review. I was going to do Madden 13 today for Austin, but I decided I'm actually going to do something even better. We're going to take a little trip down memory lane. And when I mean memory lane, I mean we're going to go way back to probably, let's say, 1993 to be exact. Now you have to think about to the days of the Super Nintendo. And for you youngins that have just started watching, or whoever else that never really got to play one, you're missing out on a piece of gold here. You got to think about it. Back in 1985, the Nintendo came out. That was pretty revolutionary. That's the first system I ever played back when I was starting to play games back in probably 1991 or 2. And ever since then I've been playing, so I'm going on 21 years this year. So that's pretty good for me. But you gotta think about it. It's 8-bit. I mean, it was revolutionary at the time. You had Mario with the do 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 do. You gotta go around and find all the castles and try and find Princess Peach, but you don't find her until the very end. Spoiler alert! Ha ha! But everyone knows that because they've probably beaten that game before. But then you jump up to the Super Nintendo. There was a 16-bit era. All of a sudden, you had all these much colorful games coming out, the better sound quality. You had just kids playing multiplayer all the time, and let's just say, for instance, Battletoads. This one goes out to my buddy Brad. Battletoads and Double Dragons is one of the hardest games ever made, and it's still to this day because it's relentless. It's like the Contra of the Super Nintendo. One hit, you're basically dead, except in this one you could get hit a couple times, but still didn't help you any because you would just die constantly. But to actually get to the point where I'm going with this today this is actually a shout out to my mother as well. I was having a bad day and my brother walked in with a garbage bag. I didn't even know what was in there, and I looked in there. It was a day brightener. It really was. And today, this is what we're doing. Super Mario All-Stars. Yes, this is the booklet from 1993. 20 years old, and it looks in perfect condition. So, that's always a plus. But to make it even better, the original cartridge. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, alright, so what's this game got that I can't get anywhere else? Well, in this one, it's got the original Super Mario Brothers from the original Nintendo. It's got the unreleased in North America Super Mario Brothers 2, The Lost Levels. It's got Super Mario Brothers 2, or if you want to call it by its original name, it's Doki Doki Fantasy. It's a hard game. It's not a bad one, but it's not a Mario game, really. It's a game that they threw Mario sprites into that they called it Mario, and it's not very good, in my personal opinion. Then it's got probably the best Mario of the Nintendo era. It's Super Mario Brothers 3. That one was really just the game to be, because you had all these power-ups. You could be a Hammer Bro. You could fly. In this one, you had the Tanuki suit, or the raccoon suit, as everyone likes to call it. And if you watch the video on YouTube, you can actually see a guy beating it in like 13 minutes or so. It's just all about memorization, knowing where the two whistles are, at least that I know of, in the first 2 levels. You go to World 1-3, towards the end there's a white block, you press down for a couple seconds, you get into the background, you run past the black screen at the end, and you go into a Toad House. And then at the halfway castle in World 1 as well, towards the end you fly up before you hit the door, you can go in there and find another whistle. And then you can just use those 2 to warp right to World 8. And then it's just, you got to beat the game from there, and those are some of the more challenging levels. But it's a lot of fun. Mario All-Stars, obviously it's going to be a bit better graphic-wise than what the Nintendo was. Because when you play Mario, it's a little bit of a different music, but it's still got the same basic thing. The graphics are a bit more colorful. It's not as pixelated. It looks a little bit smoother. Now, when you play the Lost Levels, prepare to play a game that's going to beat you down. It's gonna take you out on a date and not call you again. It's just gonna mess you up pretty good. I still have yet to beat it. It's personally like one of the hardest games I've played because you can play as Mario and Luigi, and each has their own set of abilities. As where you use Mario, he's gonna be your your standard run and jump. He's gonna be able to stop a little bit quicker, but he's not gonna have the jumping advantage. Now, if you decide to use Luigi in this one, you have to compensate for the fact that whenever you run and try and stop, you're going to slide. So if you're playing it and you're coming up to a ledge and you have to be like, oh crap, I have to stop, probably not going to happen. You're going to die repeatedly. But the nice thing with him is he can jump quite high, which if you played Super Mario Brothers 2, you would actually already know that because he's got like the little flutter jump going on that helps him jump. And so that's always a nice thing to have. But in closing, if you've never played Super Mario All-Stars, I would highly recommend it, even if you can emulate it on your phone, go out, find the cartridge, just whatever you need to do to play it. It's one of those games that it really just helped me define my childhood by playing it. I'm a die-hard Nintendo fan to this day. And if you actually have the chance, find Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. That'll probably be my next review, actually, is Super Mario World, or I might end up doing something that Austin, or I know there's a couple other suggestions that I've been asked to do. So for now, folks, this is James. Have a good day.